I don't want this series to be just about places I've worked. I've also would like it to be about places that I've taken road trips to and um places I've gone to and all that other stuff. So, with that being said, let's talk about a place I've recently taken a road trip to, Northwest Territories. So, about 12 hours north of the city of Edmonton lies the Northwest Territories border, and recently I took a short road trip up there. After a day and a couple hours of driving, I made it to Northwest Territories, and I explored the South Slave region, going from the Alberta border to Wood Buffalo National Park. A lot of things stuck out to me as being very different about Alberta. Northwest Territories had a lot of very big differences. Here's some examples. The speed limit is 90 kilometers an hour instead of 100 kilometers an hour. Despite that, everyone seemed to be speeding. I was going 110 kilometers an hour in these areas, and people were still passing me. Another big difference was that the parks and highway signs that are normally green were instead blue. The signs were also bilingual, being in French and English. Another thing that stuck out to me was that there were dead trees everywhere, and so, in the past, there were wildfires everywhere. In 2023, the town of Enterprise burned down, and around 20% of Wood Buffalo burned down, and the town of Hay River had to be evacuated over these wildfires. I went to 3 towns in Northwest Territories: Enterprise, Hay River, and Fort Smith. Enterprise has a gas station, but everything else seemed to be just rebuilt residential buildings. Hay River has a lot more to offer. They have more amenities, hotel rooms. They also have the Great Slave Lake, which is pretty cool. It's one of the biggest lakes in Canada. It's a pretty nice town, but I found Fort Smith to be an even nicer town. I stayed at a very good but expensive hotel, the Pelican Rapids. I think my favorite thing about the town was the Fort Smith Mission Heritage Site. The town did a really good job with that. Wood Buffalo National Park was interesting, consisting of 44,741 square kilometers. It is Canada's largest national park and the second largest in the world. It more or less consists of 2 halves, the Northwest Territories half and the Alberta half. The Northwest Territories half is used to access Fort Smith. The road is a paved highway, and it consists of a lot of points to stop and look at and learn about the park. The Alberta half is a gravel road between Fort Smith and Fort Chipewyan, and it consists of playgrounds, picnic spots, and day-use areas. And it's where the real meat of the park lies. There's also a lake that you can take your boat in, and also some hiking trails in that area as well. Northwest Territories is also very remote, meaning... Oh, wait. No. The park is very remote as well, meaning that you'll be driving for a while before there's a spot to stop and check out. Of all the national parks I've been to in Canada, this is the national park that Parks Canada does the worst job with. Yes, even worse than Jasper National Park, the park that had a town that Parks Canada was supposed to take preactive precautionary measures to, but didn't follow through with it. They had, you see, this national park, Wood Buffalo, had a very large wildfire in 2023 as well. But this park has a long history of wildfires, meaning they haven't done enough to prevent them, and they still haven't done much of any work to clear the debris out. This meant that most of the hiking trails were closed and unsafe, even though I went in 2024, and this wildfire happened in 2023. Even the short hiking trails were closed. The best spot in the park was easily the Peace Point area. at the southernmost point of the park. But let's end this on a lighter side. Northwest Territories territorial parks. These were all much better than the national park. They were far more beautiful, for one. My favorite place was the Alexandra Falls. They also had the Louise Falls. And stopping at those two locations is an absolute must. They were kept in much better condition and didn't have all that wildfire debris everywhere. I also stopped at the territorial parks on the road to Fort Smith. The river valley that ran from Enterprise to Hay River was also very nice. Fort Smith had a couple of territorial parks. One was the Heritage Park that I just mentioned, which is very good. Another was the local campground. That wasn't too bad. The other one was, they had their own set of falls about 50 kilometers or so. Or maybe not 50, but it was like 20 kilometers west or something like that. I don't really remember. It was kind of hard to see, but it wasn't too bad either. Another territorial park was the one in Hay River. That wasn't too bad either, but I didn't get the best photos of the Great Slave Lake. In total, this road trip took me about 7 days to complete, to go from Alberta to Peace Point and back. Thanks for watching. Hope everyone has a good day.